Good evening, everybody, and this is Brijesh Dalmia from Masterstroke. Thank you so much for joining in. Today is again Saturday, 6 p.m., 24th December, Christmas Eve, and we have with us Vijay Mantri. Let me reciprocate, and this is not a payback, but I am saying this that he's one of the best minds in the mutual fund industry in the country, and the kind of data he publishes, the kind of motivation he does is unbelievable. Welcome to the show, Vijay.
Thank you very much, Brijesh, for really kind words. I'm holidaying and I wish my wife was here because she moved out just right now. She
Oh,
could listen to this conversation.
we'll record it and she can watch it later.
Okay.
Any which way, wives are not interested in what we have to say. And I can tell you, Vijay, whenever I go for a talk show or this show, my wife has only one question: "Tumko kaun sunta hai?" I'm okay with that. So I think the same thing is with your wife. So nothing wrong in that. So we have a lot of people joining in today. So may I request people to please welcome Vijay, and please do mention your city from which you have logged in. And good evening to you, all of you again. So let us see from which city people have joined in. Goa, Pune, Jabalpur, Bhilwara, Chennai, Assam, Kolkata, Bhilai, Surat, Thane, Bangalore, Chennai, Ahmedabad. My goodness. And I'm very sure that all of us are going to gain a lot from this discussion that we are going to have today. So let me kickstart today. Tell us, before I start, I mean, I want to give a very brief introduction of Vijay. He developed Jivantika, which is one of the finest platforms of finding shares, lost shares, or non-demat shares, to be precise. And if you want to find that in your family or your client or any friend or relative, you are looking for that share which is not in your demat, but you are holding in physical form, you can go to Jivantika, and he is the man behind that show. More than that, he was the MD of Pramerica Mutual Fund in India, and he has been associated with the mutual fund industry for the last 20, 25 years, one of the best minds. And Vijay, I want to ask you to explain about what you have been doing in the last 2 years.
So mutual fund industry for me is like a magnet. How far I want to go away, it pulls me back with much greater force. So I worked for last few years in developing Jivantika. And I'm also thinking very deeply post this direct plan being introduced, fintech platform were coming in, active versus passive debate. And I was thinking that what could be done, in my opinion, to one of the most important segment for the mutual fund industry, that is, we call it MFD for everybody, but actually I'm talking about individual financial advisors. And we know mutual fund is a fantastic product. We know the channel is very good. So I was thinking that what are the things one need to do if you're an industry participant? So last couple of years, I've been working on Jivantika and the platform is ready. In between, I also have my own B2B platform. And the reason for that is that I want to create something with very slow and steady pace and show to the world, and particularly MFDs, that how the client can be brought in, how the client can be retained, what value one could add to the client. And whatever I go and speak at any public platform, it is by and large my experiences. So it is not, I'm just talking from a book or a theory. So if I have to go and talk, I have to have my experience behind it. So for last couple of years, I was gaining experience, not as a AMC guy, but somebody who would look at mutual fund distribution business, which is a client-facing kind of business from that perspective. So I was busy with that. And around 1.5 years back, I took a plunge of getting more on social media, because I figured out that it is a very one good medium where you could connect with lots of clients and lots of MFDs, and messaging which I thought I could create can be used by MFDs for in turn taking the message to the client. So this was what I was doing beside taking care of my health and family.
Fantastic. And I like the last statement. Beside taking care of my health and my family, and this is very important. Mutual fund distributors, आप सब पैसा कमाने में लगे हुए हैं, काम बढ़ाने में और AUM बढ़ाने में लगे हुए हैं, which I appreciate. But please take care of your health. Please take care of your family. This is very, very important, and all big people do that. So, most of the people realize this after you become big, and sometimes they don't reach there and they'll miss out on their health and family. So please stay connected with your family and take care of your health. Vijay, you were in mutual fund uh, companies MDs. You have seen the other side of the business, and now you are working for the industry. आप हमेशा म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के प्रति बहुत ज्यादा सेंसिटिव हैं और पॉजिटिव हैं. What is the reason behind that?
See, I believe equity is a asset category where customer would make money if they stay invested for the long term. I also believe that in direct stock, buy and hold doesn't work, because even a great company can become a not so great company. And I'll give some very interesting illustration to make this point. And if a normal investor has to make money, they have to go through mutual fund route or indexing route. And I'll talk about why not indexing is great idea. Why active
that was my next question. We will come to
is a great idea. So when you look at that, customer is going to make money by investing for the long term. Asset management company makes more money if the client stay for the long term. Then you look at the whole channel in the mutual fund industry. I have developed institutional business for HDFC. I have built wealth. I have built banking channel for HDFC mutual fund. But after some time, I figured out one of the best channel for client, for MFDs, and for AMC is the MFD channel. So I started working toward that, and my role is in HDFC basically was to motivate, train, give input so they can use for the clientele. So I believe that if the mutual fund industry product need to penetrate, I think we need more MFDs. We need more successful MFD. We need MFD where business can be built very fast. Unfortunately, today it takes lots of time because there's no entry load available in the market, which I think is a very bad thing done by the regulator, because it is just not the question of revenue, but a visibility of revenue for someone who doesn't have anything is very important. So I think from that perspective, I thought the MFD channel, in my opinion, is the greatest channel. Among all the asset category, equity is the greatest asset category because there's only one risk factor in equity mutual fund, that is a price volatility. There's no other risk. And so that was the reason that I believe that if India would create wealth, but if wealth creation journey happened to the Indians and it happened through MFDs, I think it's the best thing can happen to this country.
Fantastic. And I want to ask you a follow-up question on this price risk. Can you explain that? If there is no other risk in equity, but only one risk, and that is price volatility risk. आप हिंदी में इसको कुछ समझा सकते हैं?
देखिए क्या होता है कि लोग बोलते हैं कि इक्विटी बड़ी रिस्की एसेट कैटेगरी है, और जब ऐसी बात बोली जाती है तो डायरेक्ट स्टॉक्स और इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड को एक ही समझा जाता है, वो एक नहीं है पहला बात। और आपको मैं छोटा इलस्ट्रेशन देके बताता हूँ, और मैं कई जगह चीज का इस्तेमाल करता हूँ कि आपने सपोज आपको टू व्हीलर इंडस्ट्री बहुत अच्छी लगी और अपने डायरेक्ट स्टॉक में आपने हीरो मोटर्स ले लिया, बट सपोज हीरो मोटर का मार्केट शेयर टीवीएस खाने लग गया, तो मार्केट शेयर टीवीएस के पास चला जाएगा, टीवीएस का मार्केट शेयर गेन हो जाएगा, तो आपका डायरेक्ट स्टॉक्स में नुकसान का और परमानेंट नुकसान का चांसेस है। लेकिन म्यूचुअल फंड में आपके पास हीरो मोटर्स भी है, टीवीएस भी है, बजाज भी है, मारुति भी है, और अगर लोग मेट्रो की तरफ मूव है तो आपको मेट्रो के लिए जो चीजें बनाने वाली कंपनी भी है। अभी मैं किसी फंड मैनेजर से बात कर रहा था, बहुत ही आउटस्टैंडिंग फंड मैनेजर है, मतलब उसका 15-20 साल का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड बहुत जबरदस्त है। और whenever I speak to fund manager, I don't ask them कि what work, what didn't. मैं उनसे पूछता हूँ आपसे कहाँ गलती हो गई। तो बहुत ही इंटरेस्ट में उसने बोला कि यार मैंने प्रिंट मीडिया कंपनी खरीदी, सब कुछ ठीक लग रहा था, 15% अर्निंग ग्रोथ, 15% कैश फ्लो, 15% रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी, सो इट टिक्स ऑल द बॉक्सेस, और मैं लेता रहा माल और माल टूटता रहा। द प्राइसेस कम डाउन 50%, देन ही रियलाइज्ड दैट इन प्रिंट बिजनेस देयर इज नो टर्मिनल वैल्यू. So what happened? It became a value trap, and many investors have gone into this value trap time and again. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि ये समझा जाए। पहली बात तो डायरेक्ट स्टॉक्स और म्यूचुअल फंड में बहुत बड़ा फर्क है। दूसरा, अगर हम देखते हैं, फॉर इंस्टेंस लेट्स लुक एट बैंक एफडी। बैंक एफडी को 3 से 5 साल की नहीं होती है, 3 से 5 साल बाद वापस एफडी रिन्यू होती है।
करेक्ट.
ऑन ऑन एवरेज एफडी होती है 30-35 साल की, बिकॉज जब आप कमाना चालू करते हो तो आपके पास 1 लाख रुपए की एफडी है सपोज करो, जब रिटायर होते हो तो आपकी एफडी 1 करोड़ 5 करोड़ की हो जाती है. तो एफडी का टेन्योर 3 साल नहीं है, ये 3 साल का हम बकेट लेके चलते हैं, 3 साल का नहीं है बकेट, ये 20-30 साल का है. और जब आप देखते हैं कि किसी भी इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रोडक्ट के अंदर रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ इज लेसर देन इंक्रीज इन लाइफ स्टाइल, देन दैट असेट इज लूजिंग कैपिटल फॉर यू. तो एफडी तो हमेशा आपका कैपिटल का नुकसान करेगी, लेकिन ऑप्टिकली नहीं लगता वो. दूसरा है कि when you look at real estate, people don't understand the big risk in real estate, and I have looked at National Crime Bureau data. On average हर दिन 10 लोगों की मौत खाली रियल एस्टेट से होती है. 2/3 ऑफ कोर्ट केसेस इन इंडिया आर बिकॉज ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी. ये तो नॉन चीजें हैं, और हमको मालूम है कितनी अननोन चीजें होती है. हम बोलते हैं माइनॉरिटी शेयर होल्डर्स का राइट प्रोटेक्ट नहीं किया उस प्रमोटर ने इस फंड में जितनी बड़ी बेवकूफी की. लेकिन जब भी आपने अपना रियल एस्टेट का पोर्टफोलियो खोलता है, वहां बेवकूफियों की मतलब आप उस पर नॉवल लिख सकते हो पूरी की पूरी. सो वहां प्राइस रिस्क नहीं है, क्योंकि वह प्राइस आती नहीं है. इफ यू लुक एट गोल्ड एज इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑप्शन वेयर पीपल इन्वेस्ट इन ज्वेलरी, द बिगेस्ट रिस्क टू दैट इज थेफ्ट, misplacing the jewelry, and the physical threat to life. People do not understand these things. They believe that these things will not happen to them, but it is not that way. इक्विटी में एक ही रिस्क है, इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड में एक ही रिस्क है कि भाई आपका मार्केट टूटा तो योर एनएवी में आल्सो फॉल. बट एज वी सीन इन 2000, in 2008, even in 2020, when the market recover back, the fund's NAV recovers and goes much higher level. Equity mutual fund do not have permanent loss of capital concept, unlike any other asset category.
Fantastic. Friends, all of you who are listening to Vijay, I suggest you pay very high level of attention of every word he's speaking. He's so passionate with data and supportings. And I have scratched his mind a couple of times during our breakfast or other meetings, and he is just phenomenal. And the kind of conviction he has about equity, about MFD, which I'm going to ask him next, is unbelievable. Vijay, during our discussion, you said that the best is yet to come for mutual fund distributor. There's a golden era coming for mutual fund distributor. And we are in a situation where commissions are going down, direct plans are, ratios are going up. What do you have to comment on this? How will you convince the audience who are listening to you right now, more than 300 people? What Sorry, I think my connection went off. So, Vijay, did you hear my question about the golden period of mutual fund distribution business?
No. You were saying that why you believe golden period for mutual fund.
My question to you is this, that direct share is going up, commissions are going down, regulations are okay, but not very, very favorable for mutual fund distributor in the country. This is what mutual fund distributors think about. And you told me that the golden era of mutual fund distributor is yet to come. What makes you believe so?
So, first thing first is that one is that financialization of saving is going to happen big time. The kind of money people used to put in gold, I think you will see incrementally over a period of time when the next generation take over. Up to our generation, it was fine to own gold. But if I look at my son or any my friends' daughters, nobody's are interested in owning gold. So when the next transition happen, you will see these people are not interested in owning gold. Second thing about real estate, the kind of growth we have seen in real estate is there are three fundamental reasons. If you look at the world's population, it never exceeded 200 crore before around Second World War. From that to we have become 800 crore in last 80 years. And there was a huge urbanization. Going forward, I don't think world population is going to go up. On the contrary, world population is going to come down. And every decent guy have more than the houses they need. Family sizes are shrinking. You have an implication that more and more money would move away from these assets to financial asset. And even within these assets, there'll be option like in equity, we have ETF and we have digital gold, and you have a sovereign gold bond where MFD can participate. Similarly, on the real estate, you have AIF and you will have share property deal where 7 to 8% lease rentals are available. So wherever people used to participate directly, going forward, they will participate indirectly, because for every individual person, the life is going to become more and more complicated in their own profession. So their ability to spend time on other things will go down. So people would need advice. There's a one part. So if you look at big picture, huge financialization of saving is going to happen in India. That's one part. Second part, MFD just not mutual fund distribution alone. They can sell multiple products. So if you're an insurance advisor, you sell insurance product. And I think there the complexity will only increase. How much regulator try, it is not going to happen, because it is a nature where these things will happen. Just look at car. When we used to, first my car was like no option because there's only car available. Today, if you look at number of cars within the same range, you get 15, 20 cars. You confuse like a hell. Look at holidays, look at any product category, there'll be more complexity. So investor would need help. As far as direct business is concerned, direct is the very good way. Would try to do something and directly because they believe they.
I think the audio is going off, Vijay. Is my audio correct? Friends, can you? Who? So my audio is correct. Vijay, your audio is not. Your screen has
So
frozen.
what I'll do, I think there could be some on. Let me.
So I will pause the recording. You can join
Just
probably.
go.
Technology always creates some issue here and there. Once in every 10 programs, we have some sort of a technology issue. Today, I'm also not at home, and Vijay has some connectivity issue also. So please bear with us. Yes, Vijay, continue.
So I was saying that financialization of saving, and as we discovered, India is not a market where people go beyond something crazily. So, for instance, if you look at soft drink, there's only Coke and Pepsi brand available in US. If you look at breakfast, there's Kellogg. I don't think India is going to follow that trend. So, even in the mutual fund or even in the personal finance business, people are not going to follow one god. In India, we have 30 crore god and we have so many goddesses, we have family deity. India is not a market will be captured by a single entity, single enterprises, single set of enterprises. India will remain the way it is. And there lies, in my opinion, tremendous opportunity for MFDs, because it is a kind of business. MFD is a kind of business where your background does not matter. Whether you're highly educated, you are semi-educated, whether you speak good English, whether you dress well, doesn't matter. Because in India, the market is so complex that in every segment, you'll get your core customer. And the base is so huge, so huge. So India is not a market where you have to behave in a certain way to gain market share. Not at all. So I believe individual will triumph. Even look at the company like Amazon. They had a great time during COVID, but today ask any Amazon supplier, they're struggling because the Kirana shops are coming back. The government is also figuring a way out where these enterprises need to be empowered. So in my opinion, as Amazon's founder Jeff Bezos did say something very, very interesting. I do not know what will change, but focus on what which will not change. And in my opinion, what will not change when it comes to serious money, people would need advice. And let me tell you, advisor need to build their skill to go deeper to the client. Today, with my client, the discussion on investment is just 5 to 10 minutes. What is happening is something very interesting in the client's life. If you look at any wealthy investor, he has invested in so many partnerships. यहाँ प्लॉट, यहाँ मॉल बन रहा, उसमें 20% स्टेक है मंत्री जी मेरा, यहाँ पे कुछ ऑफिस बन रहा, बड़ी बिल्डिंग, मेरा 15% स्टेक है. Then ask them कि sir, where is the partnership deed? So there's, in some places there's no partnership deed, in some places there partnership deed, but there are no exit clauses. So I said, आप पैसा निकालोगे कैसे भाई, मुझे बता दो आप. So these kind of complexity is going to come as we travel along in the life. So MFD need to up their game, in my opinion, because the client would need serious advice, and the advice will not come from a wealth counter. Advisor will not come from a bank RM. Advisor can only be given by a person who's there with you for last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And believe me, go through the pain where the customer do not appreciate the kind of work you've done. But I am on the mission to create something where MFD's alpha would be visible to the client. I'm in the game where I'm looking at how do I create a track record of MFD's advice. So I think that will come in maybe 6 months or 1 year time, but I'm toward that because in my opinion, MFD business में mis-selling possible ही नहीं है, Brijesh.
I know. We have discussed about this. You want to elaborate on that? Why?
Yeah, because, and I've been traveling to all across the country and telling my friend in MFD business that in the MFD business, you can't mis-sell because the biggest concern is how I'm going to get new client. Because one bad client can talk to many people. For me, retaining the existing client is the most important thing. If that is a thing, then I should make less mistakes. So without deliberately doing something, you end up doing something which is not satisfactory to the client. How the hell you are going to add something more? We have seen in past a lot of MFDs being shortchanging the client, and they may look hero for some 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, but over a period of time, Brijesh, if you look at any MFD above 100 crore plus, they follow very good management practices with the client.
Fantastic. So in the interest of audience, I want to give a couple of opinions what Vijay said. First of all, the arguments, Vijay, honestly, that you have in favor of the industry, equities, mutual fund distributor is completely different than the whole industry put together. I will request MFDs to please mention, yes, if you agree with me, that the arguments of Vijay, why MFDs are superior, why equity is superior, why investors will need advice is completely different out of the box. So mutual fund distributors who are attending this program, you are self-interested in the client, but self-motivation is a daily pill. And Vijay is giving that self-motivation, and you should watch these videos again and again of Vijay that, why you should stay in the business for the long term. And to add what Vijay is saying, that ये नहीं सोचना है दोस्तों कि कौन सा क्लाइंट चला जाएगा, ये सोचो कौन सा रह जाएगा. ये नहीं सोचना है कि कि क्लाइंट का बिजनेस कितना चला जाएगा, ये सोचने का कि कितना बिजनेस रह जाएगा और वो मल्टीप्लाई करेगा और उस पर ट्रेल आएगी. This is the way you have to think positive. And so Vijay, see, there's so many people who are writing, yes, the way you have explained this is phenomenal. Taking this point further, Vijay, yesterday only there are some news that the regulators are looking at the commission structure and the fee structure again, and there is again some kind of panic in MFD fraternity. फिर से commission गिरेगी, commissions will fall. And there is always there's also a talk of passive versus active. So there are two parts of this question. How will you address that the commissions might fall, and to what extent? And what is the point you will say the MFDs to sustain at this particular point of trail commission on their book? And the second part is that what's your take on active versus passive? Because people are concerned that active is not beating the returns index, and passive will take over and their business will go down.
So if you really ask me, I'm not bothered about regulator, what they do, because you can't put a finger on what they intend to do. But my bigger concern would be on active versus passive, and I'll speak about it. But before that, I worked in the mutual fund industry, and just few days back, I was having a lunch with a very big mutual fund CEO company, and he told me, "यार, हम तो क्या करते हैं कि हम तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के लिए पैसा बनाते हैं, हमारा तो कुछ पैसा बनता नहीं है."
So I said, how do you say that? And he said, that, see, whatever we earn, we end up paying 60%, 70%, whatever percentage to distributor. And I said, how much time you spend in creating this distribution system? Just look at the insurance industry. They had a tied agency concept. The kind of money they need to spend was humongous. You just get plug and play. Look at Mirai kind of brand, which is not a domestic brand, but you could play on existing distribution. So one of the most efficient way a product is distributed is share distributed. Nobody owns it. You don't pay anything to your distributor unless they bring the business to you. So in my opinion, it is one of the most economical way. Mutual fund distribution is most economical way of distributing financial product. Look at the bank branches. How many bank branches are there? For what kind of work they do? And in the bank business, today the work has been pushed to the client. There's no intermediaries involved. Everything has to be done by the client. In the mutual fund business, the large part of work is done by the MFD. Asset management company say 3 o'clock is a cutoff time. Client say, I gave you the instruction. If NAV, I didn't get the NAV, but it is your problem. But we do very well in spite of all the challenges. So my first thing is that MFD, and I always, from my side, I shared fair revenue with MFD. If anybody coming and telling you that you guys are earning too much, you tell the particular asset management company, please go and create your own tied agency concept and figure it out. We are a shared distribution and our cost is variable cost. If you look at big asset management company, just look at ICICI Mutual Fund or look at HDFC Mutual Fund. Total AUM and look at the total salaries, all the expenses is 13 to 15 basis point of total asset under management. Okay, so what are you talking about? So that doesn't work in my opinion. Now let's come to the active versus passive. Unfortunately, people in India give half-cooked data about active and passive. And I'm going to release video on timely basis, on regular basis. I'm going to do this on the basis of data on 31st December 2022. As we discussed, today finally they agreed to accept and concede that passive 100% time, 100% underperform. Earlier they were not saying that, but today I made them accept it. So in any public platform, any social media platform, but that is not the point. The point is that there's a difference between beating the market and meeting the market. You can beat the market, but who will make the client meet the market? Okay, only MFD can do it. And if you do not remunerate, and my business model is created by regulator or by AMC, where I was not, rewarded enough for my effort, then there's a very simple Gresham's law. The Gresham was an economist in England, and he said, the bad currency make good currency go out of circulation. Because जब भी आपके पास कड़क नोट होते हैं तो आप उसको जेब में रख लेते हो और गंदे नोट आप बाजार में निकालते हो. ग्रेशम का वही लो है, a bad product will make the good product go out of circulation. If the mutual fund industry doesn't do that, and actually is very foolhardy on their part to do it, and but believe me, India, there's a huge opportunity for alpha. It will come back. You will wait for my video to come. I'll explain everything. But most importantly, what is happening in US with these passive walas not discussing this thing, but more money in US market is going into solution. The money is not, definitely institutional money is getting into passive, but most individual money and advice money is going into solution, not coming into passive. In India, people talk about passive has grown up so much, but nobody give data about out of this passive, how much is NPS, how much is EPFO, how much money is coming from institutional investor, and out of individual investor, how much is coming through RIA, because RIA money also come with the cost, and how much is money coming without. And if you see that number unfortunately is not very big, or fortunately is not very big. I have done some studies with some asset management company. I can't disclose the numbers. Similarly, if you see, for instance, direct is growing. Baba, you see where direct is growing. It is because of EPFO money. EPFO is putting 3,500 to 4,000 crore per month. NPS putting 1,000 to 1,500 crore per month. So that is a close to 5,000 crore going half of SIP book you can see is coming into these kind of product. So it is a misnomer, and I will discuss this in much granular detail, and it will give enough input to the MFD so they can go and defend themselves. But long story short, in India, one, IMFD need to focus on solutions. Second, you will see in coming year significant outperformance from the active fund because the economy is expanding. Earlier in last 5 to 7 years, economic profit pool was hands of few company, and because of that, passive outperform. But I don't see the trend will continue forever.
Friends, I want to make a statement here. इस इंटरव्यू को सुनने के बाद, इस वीडियो को देखने के बाद अगले 2 साल अगर आपके मन में कोई शंका या संदेह होता है, if you have a doubt about this business of mutual fund distribution, you will do injustice to Mr. Vijay Mantri. The kind of explanations he has, the kind of motivation and the kind of data he has, and please write yes in the chat box for others to know that you agree with me or not. With this kind of statements being made by Mr. Vijay Mantri, which is very, very acceptable in terms of the way he is explaining. Even then, if you need motivation tomorrow morning and day after about the commissions, about the active, about the passive, about the people going into it, you will do injustice to Mr. Mantri. So please do justice to Mr. Mantri's statements that at least for the next 2-3 years, nobody knows for life, you will not think twice about the growth potential of this business. Okay, Vijay.
So Vijay, just to add you, I was seriously thinking of starting some social work. Okay. But then I was talking to my brother and he gave me some very interesting story. And I said, he told me that the social work is overrated. You should become an entrepreneur and you choose the field where you're good at it and make really good name for yourself. So he gave me a story of Rishi Atri and Tuladhari Vaishya. People should hear this story. So there was Rishi Atri, who was a very good, was a very good disciple of the God, and he got pride that there's nobody better than me. मतलब Atri के ऊपर कोई भगवान का भक्त नहीं है. So you know, Narad ji came and Narad ji said, no, there's a Tuladhari Vaishya. Tuladhari Vaishya means a baniya, a trader, merchant, like you and me, Brajesh. So he said, how this guy could be better than me? तो उन्होंने अत्री को बोला कि आप जाके तुलाधारी वैश्य के घर पे कुछ दिन रहो. तो उनके घर पे रहा 10-15 दिन. ऐसा तो सुबह उठते थे, पूजा पाठ करते थे, नाम भी लेते नहीं थे, पता नहीं, अपना काम करते थे और रात को सो जाते थे खाना वाना खा के. तो बोला ये तो भक्ति भी नहीं करता, इसमें क्या बात है? तो बोला कि ये ऐसा आदमी है कि ही मेक जस्ट प्रॉफिट, कि न तो ओवरचार्ज करता है न अंडर चार्ज करता है, किसी बीच का ईमानदारी से बिजनेस करता है. एंड ही सेड, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट सत्युग, कि ईमानदारी से व्यापार करने से बड़ा धर्म कुछ नहीं है. तो अपने एमएफडी बिजनेस में सीरियसली आई एम टेलिंग यू, स्पिरिचुअल लेवल भी आप सोचो ना, इससे अच्छा बिजनेस नहीं हो सकता. और अपनी इंडस्ट्री में एक सिंपल कहावत है कि एक एसआईपी आपकी जिंदगी बदल नहीं सकती, लेकिन किसी इन्वेस्टर की जिंदगी हमेशा के लिए बदल सकती है.
Fantastic. Vijay, I want to now ask you, चलो म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर अच्छा है, इंडस्ट्री अच्छी है, ग्रोथ अच्छा है, मगर हर म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर ग्रो नहीं करता. All mutual fund distributors are not able to grow. Many are feeling the heat, many burn out, many are not able to grow their business. तो कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम होगी उनके बिजनेस में. What is your suggestion? What do you think MFDs are not doing right? What is your advice how to grow in this profession?
In my opinion, you don't need high level of intellectual in MFD business, and for that matter, any business. I worked with fund manager and economist. One of the greatest fund managers are simply very simple people, very simple taste, read simple annual report and do, but they are extraordinary disciplined life. Okay, reading habits and all that. And what I see in MFD is that, and if you look at any industry, Brajesh, the first growth come by sheer accident. You were there at the right place, right time. So wheat were available, grains were thrown, so wheat grew, people started eating wheat and they liked it. But the most now you have to cultivate wheat and you have to feed a population. They need to put system in place. You just can't depend on the wheat to grow at its own automatically. That phase has happened in our industry. The next level of growth has to come, people putting serious effort. So why people are not able to grow? Earlier, what used to happen, the job of distributor is to send forms to the client, help them fill the form, bring the form to the asset management company, send them the receipt, send them the account statement. So that was the kind of work which is being completely eliminated in the industry, which is actually today everything is digital. So now knowledge has to be increased. Now there are find many MFDs inability to put discipline and rigor in their learning and their practice management. And wherever I'm going and I'm telling people, put focus on practice management. And I have seen exceptionally good fund managers doing exceptionally well because they have a practice management, and extremely good guys, extremely bright guys not doing well because they didn't do practice management. If MFD do practice management, Brajesh, our business is so simple. 2 and 2 is 4. It is neither 3 nor 5. It is the kind of effort you put in. And I explain to them in granular detail wherever I have traveled. This is what you need to do. Have some patience, have discipline in your life. But many of them don't do. Second thing is that the learning. Okay. And I found very funny. Many times MFD goes to listen to the people who has a profile rather than people who can give genuine content. So there are people who have a big profile. They love taking photograph. It is good for their marketing, which they continue should do. But in the heart, they should know who is giving them content to be used with the clientele. And I'm telling you, MFD just need to do one thing. There's so much material coming from asset management companies. Please read at least 1 hour daily. Simple reading, just 1 hour daily. And by doing that, you'll figure out which is your like fund houses. Somebody will follow this fund house, somebody will follow that fund house because they like what they have been talking about. And simply, I write so much on social media, people can pick it up, but people should note it down. So, Brajesh, what I do is very simple practice management. Whenever I see interesting article, interesting story, I take photograph of that and put on my PPT because I know it will be so funny. It will look very bad after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So whenever somebody come and talk to me, इस expert ने ये बोल दिया, उस expert ने बोल दिया, तो मैं उनको presentation दिखा देता हूँ कि देखिए इस expert ने 6 महीने पहले ये बोला था, expert 9 महीने पहले ये बोला, तो उसका बाजार में क्या हो. कुछ करने का जरूरत नहीं. आपको 1 साल पुराना न्यूज़पेपर लेके जाना है कि 2022 के बिगनिंग में किस ने क्या-क्या लेने के लिए बोला और उसके बाद क्या हुआ. प्रैक्टिस, थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिस मैनेजमेंट आपको करना पड़ेगा. जो चीज मैं कर रहा हूं आप उसको कॉपी कर लो, बस बहुत आपका हो जाएगा कल्याण.
So nice. Can you, Vijay, also elaborate a couple of more points? There are 3-4 questions. What do you mean by practice management? What can you give us a specific example other than the one that you gave?
So I keep repeating this story, but I'll keep repeating because it's a very good story to say. There's one girl who joined with me in 2016, and I asked her to become MFD. She became MFD. She said, I don't know anything about the economy, market, fund. I said, don't need to do anything. The client knows everything. They have every client is an economist right now. So what you need to do is very simple thing. Whenever you go and meet a client, even the client give you business or do not give you business, you should recommend to them, so these are my recommendation. Take note of that. Get a customer signature if possible, or else give your signature and give it to the client. And then every 3 months, send the performance of what you spoke to the client. So suppose I come and meet Brajesh today, 24th December. Brajesh is my potential client. And tell Brajesh, sir, I think we should do 1 lakh rupees SIP after discussing many things. Then I should send what I recommended, the performance of the recommendation every 3 months, and do it religiously. This girl has made a practice of 200 crore rupees and 90 lakh rupees SIP in just 6 year time without any client base, but just following a very simple strategy. And when she called clients, she says, please do not do business with me. Just see my advice and take your call. So she doesn't even chase a client. She has a practice management where she sent what I've recommended, sir, and what has been my performance every 3 months on the same sheet of paper. On 30th June, this was the performance. On 30th September, this was the performance. On 31st December, this was the performance. And I explain to these things in much greater detail when I meet many IFAs where I travel to various cities. But I think just follow that. Do practice management. What we can learn from the insurance industry, this is the thing. Practice management. And if you go to any insurance conference, there's no view on the market. There's no view on interest rate. There's no view on geopolitical risk. Only thing, how we need to sell insurance policy.
Fantastic. Just follow Vijay's advice and you will become fantastic mutual fund. You already are, and you will grow your mutual fund practice. Vijay, one person has asked, and I want to take that question first. Do you think this, and Vaibhav Bansal has asked this, do you think this MFD business we can pass to our son or daughter? I mean to say that, should we think to come out our next generation into this business? Please give your expertise.
See, if my father was thinking about this, then I would say yes. But today, if I have to think about it, the call is not mine, the call is my kids. So just reverse the whole question. And if they have interest, they have inclination, then definitely they should join your business. Absolutely. It is a fantastic business and they will do much better job, in my opinion. Young generations are much more, they have more energy, and you're also there. You'll help them to guide. And what you can do, what I told you right now, suppose you can't change yourself, at least next generation tell whosoever you're meeting, please do practice management. So yes, you bring your next generation, but what is most important, focus on solution. And Brijesh, I'm going to bring out very interesting solution for MFDs where they can see the biggest advantage of solution, Brijesh, is that any asset which is part of solution can be sold out to other person. Else, your biggest asset is you and biggest liability is you. And everything is just like normal mutual fund business. Then the moment you think of closing down your business for whatever reason, then the business values goes down very fast in a couple of years time. But an asset which is created through solution can be sold off. And that is a reason that in US, the client wants solution and the distributor are going for solution, because solution is a kind of business which can be sold off. Suppose, Brijesh, you want to suppose I want to sell my 200 crore running business. There's nobody buying it. But suppose out of 200 crore, 160, 170 crore is a solution. That business can be sold off to somebody else as well. So I believe, yes, get your next generation into it, but make your next generation focus more on solution.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So Vijay, I have one last question for you, and then we will take some informal question from the audience. Apart from selling mutual funds, what should a mutual fund distributor focus on in life to grow himself? And you said reading. My question is that apart from reading and selling mutual funds, what are the 2-3 things you will suggest all our people who are listening to you right now should do in life?
Actually, I have been telling this consistently. And again, it is from my own doing it. I will not speak anything out of book. I will only speak about what I have done in my life. The first and foremost is that if you are your biggest asset, then take care of yourself. So first is that physical health is paramount importance. If you're healthy, if your body is good, it is the biggest calling card when you go and meet a client. So large part of client pool comes to me when I say, sir, go and focus on your health. That is more important for you, which can be outsourced. Your health cannot be outsourced. So first focus on health. The second part they need to focus is on happiness. And in my opinion, happiness is how do you have what kind of relationship with your family. And for that, an MFD need to really work very hard. Build the listening skill. When you go home, don't give your gyan to your kids, your spouses. Listen from them. Create an environment. The more happier you are, more stable your mind is. Thought process are much better. गंदे विचार मन में आएंगे नहीं, उल्टे सीधे विचार मन में आएंगे नहीं. परिवार के बारे में पहला सोचोगे कुछ भी गलत काम करने से पहले. So health, happiness, these are two very, very important things. And focus on doing meditation, because meditation have amazing power. If health, wealth, and meditation, the result will not come in 1 day or 1 year. It will take minimum 3 years. And if you cannot do that, then don't expect your client to invest for 3 years with you.
Fantastic. A few words on Masterstroke.
I
In
think
my interest, I'm asking you this question.
I admire you a lot. I admire you a lot. I listened to you first time in Chennai, when I was the CEO of PGIM. That was
Okay.
maybe 10 years back. That's the first time I listened to you. The second time we met in Kolkata, but we know each other. So I have seen your journey. I have seen the kind of work you're doing. And again, I believe what you are doing is very different. For the back end, their platform available. But MFD do not have, they suppose they need to go and meet somebody. They don't have a presentation deck which Wealth Counter has. They do not have interesting calculation to be done. So I think you are doing a very good job, in my opinion. And people like you, India need more people like you. You need to grow. And I'm going to very honestly, people like you and anybody else, where whatever I can do to help person like you, your organization, which is already doing fantastic job. So I think Masterstroke, in my opinion, is one of the very good outfit working for MFDs, helping MFDs. And I urge people to associate more and more with you, go deeper with you in relationship, and I think they will also prosper. But most importantly, whatever you are doing, it will give you greater satisfaction if your followers follow your advice and execute with much higher rigor than anything else.
Thank you so much. And to the audience, I will say this: start following Vijay Mantri if you're not. Follow his Facebook, like him. And so whatever he posts will reach out to you. Unless you like him and his post, the algorithm of Facebook will not show his post to you. So I have started liking his post for last 6 months, and every post he does comes to me, and you will get a lot of wisdom. And he is interested party in the mutual fund distributor fraternity. He is interested in your growth, and is one of the best that I have met, the sharpest mind and the best examples he has. And of course, I don't mind if you make some comments in the chat box about Masterstroke, because I also love appreciation and encouragement. So that's all right. So thank you so much, Vijay, for this interview. But please don't go away. We'll take a few questions, and you can also pick and choose from the Q&A box or from the chat box if you like. And I will also read some of the comments, and I will ask you the first question, which is that what do you mean by solution business, briefly?
So stocks were a solution because you could participate in the business enterprises. After stocks, mutual fund become a solution because which stock to buy become a challenge. Then there are too many mutual fund, and there's active and passive. And if you do too much passive, then you don't make enough money. So they are not motivated to go and reach to the client. So ultimately, client loses in the process. So regular income is a solution. Capital protected SIP is a solution. Safety wall is a solution. Zero risk equity portfolio is a solution. So there are 5-6 solutions, and each MFD can think what kind of solution they could create. So for instance, I keep talking about zero risk equity portfolio, where the client can have money in the real estate, where he get the regular rental. He could have a tax-free bond or FD or NCD, or money into debt mutual fund. Ask them to transfer that money into equity mutual fund, only the gain part. And invariably, the feedback from client is very good. And what happens in the process, that suppose you give somebody have SBI FD, so tells her, do keep money in SBI ultra short term and transfer money into SBI small cap. And tell clients that even you have like 10 lakh rupees, just give me 1 lakh rupees in this product, and I will manage it well. And even if the client do not give you that money, at least note it down and send him a report after every 3 months. What would have happened suppose he has done that? So what happened? I see very interesting thing. The moment you do this kind of solution, the first client focus goes away from absolute return comparison between one fund or another fund, because this is coming through a strategy. Is not bother what this fund is delivering, because he knows only gain is going. The second part, Brijesh, I have seen is what I show is that, sir, 10 lakh rupees in SBI FD, 10 lakh rupees in SBI ultra short duration fund, and there's a gain if you transfer the money into SBI small cap. And the difference between SBI FD and my portfolio is my advisors, my MFDs alpha. And what you find very interesting, after some time, when clients see SBI ultra short duration 5.5%. SBI is small cap delivering 20%. He at his own ask, give me more equity allocation, because you are giving him a test of in a very, very calibrated manner. So I just explained one of the solution. I am going to come through various forum to MFDs to explain them what are these solutions, and they can create their own solution. But I'm just giving a one illustration. Once you have asset in force out, suppose out of your 100 crore asset or 550 crore asset, if 5 crore asset is in zero security portfolio, even if you want to sell that part of the business, that can be sold off because the client know the money is managed through a structure.
One question is coming, saying how important is to focus on SWPs? We all focus on SIPs. Should we also focus on SWPs?
Yeah, SWPs I think is a very good product. It's very tax efficient and it gives a lot of flexibility to the client. But friends, just keep this thing in mind. Just don't blindly sell SWP. Tell client, when you sell SWP, how do you desell or how do you talk about insurance product? So you go and tell him, sir, mutual fund give you far greater flexibility in managing your cash flow. The advantage or disadvantage of SWP or money coming from insurance is regularity of cash flow. Whether you need it or do not need it, the power of compounded get impacted immensely in the SWP process. Because suppose you need money, the money come on first of every month. Then what happened to that money? One particular month you need 40,000, but 50,000 is coming. One particular month you need 60,000, but 50,000 is coming. Rather than SWP, SWP is a very simple solution. But just keep that in mind. Sir, tell me when you need the money, I'll put a redemption request. And nobody, believe me, need money on regular basis. They just feel good the money is coming in their account and the money get vested, very honestly. Because it is not being utilized properly. The power of compounding gets significantly compromised for the client. But for a selling purpose, a great structure. But suppose you explain this, then you strengthen your hand to pitch mutual fund against insurance products.
I must tell you, Vijay, that your take is so different on each and every question that I have asked you, and it is so much wisdom to rub myself and all the audience will agree with you on this. And I will have one more question. And today we have a couple of minutes, so we will take a couple of people on the speaker. They have a few hands raised, Nandita, Ashok, Pankaj, and I will give you this opportunity, but you have to ask your question in less than 10 to 15 seconds. Samir is asking, interesting, and I want to know this answer. Where can we see Vijay sir 10 years down the line? I'm following closely all his ideas on Facebook. Man to go for all the IFAs.
I will be here only. God for मतलब भगवत कृपा रही तो यहीं रहेंगे और कुछ मुझे काम आता नहीं है. I saw a Bollywood movie where there's one actor and the actor was saying कि boss मेरे को तो Bollywood में काम करना है, मुझे एक्स्ट्रा का रोल मिला है, मैं यही करूंगा, मुझे वो करना भी नहीं आता कुछ. अच्छा हूँ बुरा हूँ यही कर सकता हूँ मैं.
Shashi Bhujanji, please ask your question. We have 3 people. Please, I will give this opportunity. If you are still there, please ask your question. Or Krishna Raj is saying Vijay ji is genius personified. I can't agree with you more, Mr. Krishna Raj. And he's also asking one question, Vijay, how many funds should we recommend in each category to the client?
This is a very interesting question. I think if time permit, I think we need to do these kind of activities on specific topics. Today was more motivational and spiritual in nature. So when I think deeply about it, it's very interesting. Every asset management company comes and tell you select 4 or 5 funds because that's where they get 20%, 25% allocation. But if you think you're a 40 asset management company and top quartile itself is a 10 companies then. So you need to think deeply about it. What you should do, in my opinion, is that when it comes to large cap, give 50% allocation to index. You don't have to argue with anybody. 50% allocation to 1 or 2 asset management company. In large cap, you can go with unknown name, not big name, because large cap, what wrong can do, except you don't take faltu name, but you can recommend even a smaller companies. Flexi and multi-cap, basically they are actually same category by and large. Mid-cap, you have to be more calibrate. Mid-cap is a challenge, but the biggest challenge in my opinion is small cap. there you need to go with the fund houses, which has specialized in getting a small cap. And what you should do in a small cap, you need to give more diversification. So if I have a choice, I will give if I have a choice, 4 small cap and of different asset management company, 2 to 3 mid cap, 2 to 3 multi cap, or 1 or 2 large cap, and you can add value or growth. But in today's world, believe me, you have to give 10 to 12 scheme to a client for the portfolio. Nobody should do more than 10 to 12%, because no asset management company's market share in the field in which you're working. So suppose in SBI you take out passive, then if you look at the market share, then nobody has more than 10 to 12% market share. So you should not be doing more than that, in my opinion, as far as equity is concerned.
So friends, that's all we have for today. And I must admit and say, and I tell you that Vijay is probably, you will count people like Vijay on your fingers, the kind of knowledge and depth he has in his understanding about the mutual fund, the industry, the product, the solutions is unbelievable. Do you agree with me or not? Please write yes in the chat box, and then we will sign off today. Thank you so much, Vijay, for this lovely session, and we will have it on the YouTube also. We'll promote it for other distributors also to see this. 300 people, we are live here, and probably 400 overall joined. Please do not go away. We'll have a few questions within us after we say bye to Vijay. But see, Vijay, there's so many people writing fantabulous, awesome, great session, and I picked up really many of the thoughts that you have, which I will quote you in my future discussions with MFDs. This is what Vijay said, and this is what Vijay said, and this is what you have to do. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Vijay, for your time, and we'll interact again when we meet again. I will come to Bombay and I will see you. And if you are in Calcutta, to make it a point to be my guest. Thank you so much, Vijay.
Thank you very much, Brijesh. Thank you very much for inviting me. See you.
Thank you so much.